The Oka Crisis. When Mohawk land faced the military, it started with a golf course. A town near Montreal wanted to expand 9 holes into 18, but the land they wanted to build on? It wasn't empty. It was Mohawk land. Land that included a sacred burial site. The Mohawk people of Kanesatake had defended that land for over 270 years. But in 1990, after decades of ignored land claims, they said, enough. They built a barricade, not with weapons, but with resolve. They stood between their ancestors and bulldozers. And Canada's response? They sent the army. First came the police. 1 officer died in a raid. Then came the soldiers. Tanks, assault rifles, snipers in the trees. The Canadian government brought full military force against Indigenous people on their own land. It was a 78-day standoff. Mohawk women, elders, and children stood behind the barricades. Some went days without food. The media spun them as dangerous, but they weren't the ones pointing rifles at unarmed families. One young Mohawk girl walked through that line of soldiers, holding an eagle feather. The photo became iconic. But what happened after? The crisis ended. The golf course wasn't built, but the land wasn't returned either. The barricades came down, but the problem never did. This wasn't just a protest. It was a warning that in Canada, Indigenous land rights are still seen as a threat, something to suppress, not respect. The Oka Crisis wasn't history. It was a message, and it's still echoing. Because if defending your ancestors brings soldiers to your doorstep, what does that say about the country you live in? Remember Oka, remember who stood and who pointed the gun. Share their story. The fight for land never ended.